It does always make me chuckle when I see comments saying, "Oh, there goes my backlog, one more game," because I can guarantee you it's exactly the same on this side of the fence. This week, all I've been seeing are comments saying, "I'm really looking forward to your review of Star of Providence." And after the first couple, I thought, well, fair enough, there's a couple of excited people. And then I saw a couple more and a few more, and my entire sales video was just flooded with people saying how good the game was. Ay caramba, the backlog has increased in size. I made the purchase, and I've basically not stopped playing for about 20 hours. Thanks for that. It comes from the team over at Big Mode, and it was originally called Monolith, but they renamed it in a bid to have it a more searchable title, and then released it on the Nintendo Switch. But does this cosmic adventure shine as brightly as you guys promised? Well, my name's Mark Walker, welcome back to SwitchUp. Now let's find out. As the player, you pilot a lone ship that's basically navigating an abandoned facility in search of a very powerful, possibly definitely slightly dangerous force that's hidden well within it. Helping you to do this is what essentially amounts to a space cat. After you've completed your first run, they appear in the hub area, offering weapons, upgrades and different items, as well as just a chinwag if you want to have a little chat. Kleins also helps you decorate your space and improve it as the game goes on. It's not a massively story-driven experience, but you will meet a few characters along the way that do give it a little bit of heart. But realistically, it's all about the gameplay. In some ways it's a classic roguelite, but really it harkens back to arcade titles. It's like a mashup of a bullet hell shooter with a more traditional at this point roguelite experience. Now your little ship can be controlled using the left analog stick, but a top tip is to lock it to strafe mode from the menu. I found this much easier. Then you're using the right stick, which pointing in any direction shoots automatically and obviously steers you in a direction. Being locked in this way means it's much easier when enemies are coming round corners. Each floor is split up into several rooms, very Binding of Isaac, and those rooms contain a number of different enemies, certain unique encounters, and of course the glorious 3-option pickups we've become so accustomed to. What's nice here is as you hover close to those, it will show you what they are. Running over them gains you that ability or item, and sometimes it will split out into multiple weapons. The game's weapon system works in quite an interesting way. They essentially have an ammo counter which is shown in the corner. Once that reaches 0, that weapon is destroyed or removed, but you can gain a passive ability on a run that negates that. Not something I'd usually comment on so soon. The controls are like butter. It is so damn smooth to play. Even the most minute movement on that analog stick is going to send you exactly where you want to go. And that movement also does not have a momentum to it. When you stop, it does. It's exactly what you want because we're going to be doing lots of dodging. Star of Providence features around 120 unique enemy types, and it's one of those games where there's a risk and reward element. Once you've reached the end area and defeated the boss, you can move on, but you might want to go and have a little look around, see if you've missed anything of importance. That obviously comes with the risk of potential death. You can see your health at the top middle of the screen, and it starts out reasonably okay, difficulty-wise. It lulls you into that false sense of security. One run might just be ridiculously difficult. It does feature the classic roguelite spikes that you sometimes get, but also those moments where you enter a room and you're just handed the best guns in the game. I'm one of these people that in computer games I usually pick up every item I can, stuff my inventory, and then never use any of it, bar that one good thing. That's not something or an experience you can recreate with this game. Because you have that finite ammo system, love it or hate it, you're constantly aware that at some point that weapon's going to go and you're going to revert to the default. Now the default machine gun's fine, but ammo management does factor in when you're considering when you're going to take on the boss fight. Outside of standard movement, you've also got a quick dodge move, and true to its bullet hell roots, your ship has a very precise hitbox. It means with a little patience and skill, and a bit of a steady hand, you'll be able to really dodge in and out of some of those bullets, almost to the point where they're grazing the sides of you, but you're still not taking damage. If, however, you really find yourself in a pinch, in classic genre style, if it was a bullet hell, you have your bombs. They'll clear the screen of enemy projectiles and give you a few moments to breathe. While the world is made up of interconnected rooms, sometimes you will need to blast down walls to get into the other areas, and there's a puzzle element to some of them as well. They keep things real simple with the maps, and also nice when it comes to respecting your time because you can teleport to any of the rooms you've previously visited. It's nice when they reduce that unnecessary backtracking while still maintaining the challenge of exploration. Now, something I did notice is there's a brief delay when you enter a new area where enemies almost wake up. This is a cool idea actually. It's a very small thing, but it gives you a moment to react and also plan your strategy. Now, no, I'm not sat there thinking, all right, what am I going to do next? This isn't chess. But as you learn the enemy types and the environmental hazards as a player, that half second to a second gap is really invaluable. It adds a fairness to it. There's nothing worse, is there, when you enter a space and die instantly and you're like, oh, come on, man. Now, if I was to level a negative at the experience, it would be the difficulty spikes. Now, I've already mentioned them briefly, but some runs will just feel a little bit like the world is against you. You'll pick up the worst weapon, you'll encounter the most irritating of enemies, and you'll die quite quickly. It's just part and parcel, isn't it, really, with these types of games? Upon death, the game does reward you, though, with a bunch of permanent unlocks. It's that thing, isn't it? You're frustrated, but you're also delighted to see those come up on screen. And they always manage to find a sound effect that morbidly makes you want to die just so that you can hear it again. There is that sense of progression between runs which you'd hope for. The boss fights have a traditional health bar shown on the screen. It's absolute carnage, honestly. You have to go into that zen-like state, but it is all facilitated by quality controls and just fun design. While for some there may be a slight lack of depth here, there are more secrets than you might at first think. And those controls, those controls. Gameplay scores 18 out of 20, controls score the same, 18 out of 20. Visually, Star of Providence looks a bit like if you took some of the pixel art of Shovel Knight, sprinkled in a little Tetris, and a mashup of about 47 different classic arcade games, you're going to get something like this. Now, the aspect ratio is a bit weird, again evoking classics. Fill in the middle of the screen with the sides decorated with artwork. It is there by design. I'm not sure if I would have preferred them to fill the entire screen. You don't really notice it after the first few seconds, and I guess it kind of focuses your eye in the center, but it's not going to be to everyone's tastes. What I think will be to everyone's taste is that damn soundtrack. Composed by, I think, GYRO, who I have to be honest, I've never heard of. It's a real standout element. It's usual that you get one or two good songs, little toe tappers. But here, every new area, I found myself just stopping to listen to the music. Throw in the chunky sound effects, every shot, explosion and dodge just feels satisfying. Now visually, yeah, it's nice, but as I say, not for everyone. Performance is fantastic at 60 FPS flawlessly. Visuals and performance score 16 out of 20. Sound and audio, that scores 19 out of 20. Price-wise, this one cost me about a tenner, I think it was. I think it's on sale. You'll see all the prices on the screen. It was one of those. I saw all the comments. I stood in line at the shop. It was looking at me on the shelf. And it was impulse territory, so I did. Am I disappointed with that price? Absolutely not. You've got multiple playable characters that you'll unlock. And every time you do have to loop back to the beginning, you'll unlock a harder game. Very fun time. I give value 17 out of 20. In all seriousness, I'm really grateful to you guys for recommending this one. Star of Providence is very intense, nicely rewarding, controls brilliantly, and has a good balanced challenge for a reasonable price. Perhaps its biggest weakness is just that it doesn't necessarily try and reinvent the wheel, but takes some of the best aspects of a couple of different stars. It gets a SwitchUp score of 88%. Alright, I need to go and do another loop. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you to all of you that enjoy the content, to our Patreons, our members, and as always for all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys, see ya!